Welcome to Modelo. I'm Phoebe, and I will be taking you through today's webinar. At its core, Modelo is a communication platform for the building industry. However, as an architect myself, Modelo offers so much more. As you know, the vast majority of our communication is visual. We build models, we make drawings, and we produce schedules. Modelo takes all this visual medium and gives you a platform that lets you communicate your vision so that you and your colleague can collaborate on and present your design, all in real time and in any web browser. There is no need to install any plugins or other applications. Modelo is compatible with Revit, Rhino, SketchUp, Vectorworks, 3ds Max, or any other models that can be exported into OBJ or FBX. Once uploaded, you can create design markups, add 3D comments, attach renderings, or assign tasks. You can create a walkthrough in and out of your design, explore design in 3D and virtual reality, and share it all with your client, with or without restricted view settings. So now let's get started. All right, let's go ahead and start. Thank you for sending out Modelo's webinar. Before I start, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Phoebe, and I am the Customer Success Manager at Modelo. My background is in architectural design, and my role at Modelo is to help you succeed in using our application. Feel free to message me any questions through the chat channel, and I'll try to check them along the way. Well, for today's webinar, we'll be going through a quick presentation on what Modelo is and what you can use Modelo for. Then I'm going to focus on 3 major topics: how you can use Modelo to manage all of your assets and share your files. Second, how you can create an interactive presentation using Modelo, including features like 3D comment cards, walkthroughs, change visual settings, how to create plans and sections, and different design options. Then last, we'll be looking at how you can share your design with clients and with collaborators. Again, feel free to message me any questions along the way, and I'll try to check them. Let's start with the presentation on what is Modelo. Like in my old job, I spend a lot of time doing, building 3D models on the computers, then take screenshots. I do diagrams in Illustrator. I do PDFs in InDesign. I package PDF, optimize it, so then I can attach it to an email to be sent it to someone. If we really think about the process, from the moment when we stop designing to the moment of sending that email, there are so many steps and so many processes. We open up so many applications. It's a really, really long process. It takes a lot of time, and we're always waiting for feedback. The way we think about Modelo is we want to minimize that process. We want you to be able to get your information across very fast. That's why our founders of Modelo, when they started this, they think Modelo is a platform to communicate integrated 3D and 2D information, and it's for all stakeholders in the building cycle. So essentially, Modelo is a centralized platform that's for your communication and presentation. There are 3 things you can immediately use Modelo for. You can use Modelo to do your asset management, meaning you can manage all of your 3D and 2D information integrated one place, quick share. You can use Modelo to collaborate, stay on top of the design process, and give feedbacks right away. You can use Modelo to do presentations and let your client engage with you in the design process. Modelo can really be used in all stages of design, not just the SD phase doing presentations, but you can also use Modelo to coordinate with MEP engineers, and you can also use it to communicate with GCs. With GCs, they're really excited about with all of the phone functions. They can check the design right on the job site on their phones. When using Modelo for asset management,
you really don't need any of these applications. In our industry, we use a lot of different applications, from Dropbox, FTP, WeTransfer, but we felt like there really isn't one application that is specifically built for our industry, and this is what we're trying to build for you. When using Modelo for design markup, there are different things you can do. You can do arrows, text bubbles, a lot of things. This is a very good tool for a lot of principals who spend a lot of time on the road. You can be sitting in a car, looking at a model, rolling around, commenting on it, and sending it back in real time. Modelo for collaboration also means that you can make 3D common cards right on the 3D model. And all of these cards can be assigned. You can assign it to colleagues, they'll get a notification. And when something's resolved, you can also mark it resolved. So it's a very good management, like project management tool. When using Modelo for presentation, we have tools, this is a tool called Walkthrough. It really lets your client see your design through your eyes as how you envisioned it. And it is really intuitive to use. You simply drop points on the floor, and then the system will automatically calculate a path connecting these points. So there's really nothing much else you can do. Nothing much else you need to do. We heard our clients tell us Modelo is really good for setting up presentations. It lets them work longer until the point of presentation, where otherwise they used to spend hours setting up views and walkthroughs, which might take a night to render. We have very stunning graphic quality and a very fast converter. This is a comparison between viewing the same model in its native software Rhino and viewing it in Modelo. We can pretty much convert a 300 megabyte model into 30 megabyte. That's why it's been so nicely in a browser. And all of this conversion, you won't lose any geometric data. We can also do VR with your phone. And we're very proud to say we're one of the quickest applications to turn your design into VR. When the model is uploaded, there's a button you can click, and it instantly turns into VR. And you can also view all of the common cards you've set up. All right, this is a very quick presentation on Modelo. You can reach us by the number. You can also reach me directly. My info is actually Y as in Yankee, P as in Peter, ZHANG at modelo.io. Let's jump into our product demo. Actually, before we jump in, later I'm going to use this file and I'll share you the file. So you can kind of look at the file, play around in it while listening to this presentation. Let me turn this off now so you will be able to see my screen a little bit faster. Like when you log in, actually, let me share you the file now so you can start looking at it. I'm gonna share you via the chat channel. The file you will see is similar to how you share a file to a client, which means you won't have all of the access to all the features, but there are a lot of things you can play around in as a client as well. Okay, when you log in, this is what you'll see. You'll see a list of all your projects. I like to tell people what I'm using. I am in Chrome, and I use the HP Omen. But you don't have to be using the same computer. Modelo is compatible with all recent versions of computers and browsers, especially Chrome. I want to make a notice about this. If you are a paid user, because we have 3 tier of accounts. If you're a free user, all of your accounts will be sitting here. You only see the personal. If you're the studio user, this is the tab you see. And if you're an enterprise business user, and this is the other account you see. It is actually a multi-login system. You can be a paid user in one account, but someone else who's a free user invites you into their account as a free user. That's why I am seeing multiple things. Like with each drop-down list, I can see all of the firms who have invited me into their projects. Same with this one, and same with this one. And now I want to get into my project. Let's take a look at this project. When you're inside a project, there are 4 important tabs to know. There's the models, the assets, the project overview, and team member. By default, I will be on the model tab. You can see a quick preview of all your models, and these are the folders. Let's get into this folder. In each folder, all of the markups and conversations will be combined. Each one of these in a model, and all of the conversation will be combined in this as well. We'll get into that later. I want to quickly show you a little bit about assets. Assets, this is where you keep all of your other files except the 3D file. It could be your PDF information, the cut sheets. It could be your drawings, your panorama renderings, your presentations, and your renderings. And pretty much anything can be uploaded here. And all of these, you can download it to your computer, you can share it to someone else, or you can mark it up really quick. At here, the project wall, you can use the add button to tag your colleagues. You can hashtag specific models. You can also copy and paste a URL. We'll generate a preview of the URL, like what you're seeing here in this one. Let's come back to the folders. If I click into View Updates, this is viewing all of the comments that has happened in this model without going into the 3D. You can see these are the different cars and different markups. With each one, you'll see the conversation happening on the right. You can reply to the conversation by directly replying at this message box. You can also mark up. You see this is the little orange icon that will launch you into 3D. But if you click this one, then it goes into the markup mode. It's like the same thing as we saw earlier in that quick video. You can do the different text bubbles, revision bubbles, arrows, text, like change color. There's a range of things you can do in markup mode. When we're ready now we can launch into 3D. Actually, before we do that, I need to mention a little bit about the upload. This webinar is specifically for SketchUp users. If you have a SketchUp model, all you need to do is just drag and drop your file in there and then click upload. It's a very easy process, and it's generally very fast depending on your internet speed. I want to start a presentation with the one you see. This is a SketchUp model. I want to show you the original model. It's this one here, and it is a very big file, 900 megabytes, almost a gigabyte file. But we managed to have it uploaded into Modelo. I created a very quick presentation. I want to give you a quick preview of what I did. I did one just just the Google Earth image, so it shows the existing site condition. And then I did another one with the site plan and with all of the programs. Yeah, turning on Zoom definitely slowed down my Modelo performance a little bit. You know, I did this one. On this one, I was actually attach a plan. And I made some colors to highlight different programs. I did a site section. There are many things you can do in Modelo. You can create sections, you can create plans and elevations. Okay, now we're seeing this. Yeah, you can try it out on your own as well with the share link I sent you. I can do area views. And you can also do let's see this. Well, this one I attach a rendering. So you can see how I attach this rendering. I want to turn on some of the layers. I think I turned it off earlier. So this kind of gives an idea of what you can do with Modelo. There are many things. Now let's get into some of these details. Let's say we want to start with creating a 3D comment. Let's maybe start, let's say we're here. To make a comment on a model, first thing we need to do is actually open up this comment panel here. And there are three things. You can either add a comment, you can add a view, or you can do presentation. Now we just need to kind of rotate to a view we like and click this comment button and then drop this orange dot. Now a comment card is automatically created. We just need to type away. We can add different colleagues, like we can assign this card to different colleagues. And we can save it. If we don't want to make this comment card, we can just use this one, add view. This is a function that creates a comment card without creating this little orange dot with numbers. Say now you've created like a bunch of comments and you're ready to present. Setting up the presentation is really easy. The 3D comment card actually doubles as a way to navigate through your presentation. As pretty much how we saw earlier, you know, we can move from one card to the other. You know, without generating it. This is like how we will navigate through and making a presentation. Let's come back to some of my layers. You know, like here, what I'm doing right now is I'm going back to some of my saved settings. So we should just jump onto that. With the settings, there are like there's actually 4 tabs here. You have your layers, which is pretty much the same as your SketchUp layers. Effect is a way that you can, you know, turn on a architect's effect, which looks like this. You can change material colors, and you can also customize the background. Let's take a look at detail into layers. The architect's effect is something that we have refined a lot. You can adjust pen details and adjust contrast to fine-tune this effect. You can also turn up and turn down your brightness. You can adjust the sun longitude and latitude. I have people ask me, you know, can you specify the sun position in Modelo? And I say you can't really, you know, enter a location and time, but you can manipulate the slider to make the best guess. You can also change the field of depth. With material, we can change a different color. Let's turn our architect's effect off. And you can grab different elements and change it to its color. Modelo actually remembers groups of project. It actually groups the projects on the same layer for SketchUp models. That's why when you grab it, you'll be grabbing these elements together. That's why it's like, you know, very fast to make these adjustments. You don't have to, you know, change one by one. And with background, you can change the different background. You can actually upload your own. You can use one of our presets. And you can also set it to either rectangular or spherical. This is actually looking not bad. Let's keep this. When you're done, it's always good to save as a new setting so you can always come back to it. And the best way is after you're done with the setting, we'll create a comment card, because the comment card remembers all of the current setting when it was created. And we can go back to where we were before. And then we can come back to this setting we just changed. This is pretty much how you can do the different settings and then create comment cards. When you're done, this is a button called Client Ready. Say we have all of these different comments and we don't want the client to see all of them. That's when we turn on Client Ready. And when we share, this part here that says Show Comment Card will select Client Ready cards only. That's when they get a presentation, they will only be seeing the ones that are marked up as Client Ready. As you can see from my comments, I have a lot of them, and some ones have someone's name on it, and some ones are orange. These one orange are the SketchUp scenes. When you drop your file down, all of the scenes you create in SketchUp will then translate into comment cards with this orange title. And when someone creates a card, that's why the name shows up. You can reply to someone's card. And with different attachment, like how I showed earlier, you can do renderings, but you can also do panorama renderings. I don't have a panorama rendering attached to this file specifically, but let's look at this one. So this is another nice little house. And with my comment cards, say this one, I attach a panorama rendering. And when you click into that, it launches you into the panorama. And now let's take a look at a section tool. The section tool is very intuitive to use. When you turn it on, it just kind of works the same way as SketchUp. You grab a plane and then you can cut into that. This thing here is called orthogonal view. When you turn it on, it turns into the perfect orthogonal view. And now we can actually turn this into a section. We can hide the section plane. And now I have a perfect section. Like, to make it look more like a section, I can also turn on my architect's effect. And here we go. We just created a section. This is pretty much how I created, plans and sections. Like, for example, in this one, I created a site plan. I created a level 1 plan in Architect's Effect. This is the regular default. I created my elevation, the front elevation, and then another elevation in this Architect's Effect. I created a section in Architect's Effect as well. And I also created a sectional perspective. You can really use Modelo to do all of your presentation. All of these tools that you can do in Modelo, it's yeah, we're definitely seeing a lot of clients using this to make their presentations. Let's take a look at one of our other tools, the walkthrough. Say for this one, just gonna give you a quick look what it looks like. This is a little very neat walkthrough. You'll see it goes into the house and then it goes down the stairs. This is a tool that's very intuitive to use. It comes down and then it comes down to the downstairs living room. Okay. Actually, let me come back to this to go into this project. The walkthrough is one of the most intuitive features we have. Is literally you drop points and then the system calculates a path for you. Now we're inside this model. I grab this icon, and the first thing I need to do is to start my walkthrough. Say I want to start on top of this patio. I drop one point, I drop another point, and now I can change my different view directions. When I'm done, I just click OK. So it generates that. There's actually a few steps. We see the few steps. That's why when we played, it shows that effect of climbing up that few steps. You can use this. This is a playback slider. You can grab one point, go back to whichever point you like. You can adjust the speed. You can also enter your custom speed. And when when we want to add more, we just add more points. And now let's take a look. So I jump my points down the stairs. He climbed up, comes to the stairs, and now going down. When I climb all the way down, that's when I'll come back and see this living room, like how we showed the first walkthrough. For example, in this one, we're coming to the same stairs, and you can walk down and set the view direction to manipulate. This is pretty much all about walkthroughs. And let's take a look at section tool. Actually, the measurement tool. The measurement tool is very, very easy to use. Say I want to know the distance between the edge of this foundation wall to this curtain glass. I just drop one point and then grab another point. The system actually calculates the distance between these 2 points on the XYZ direction. What this means is you don't have to grab 2 points and make sure they're perfectly parallel. And it's also just very difficult to know if they're parallel when you're in a 3D. That's why we designed this tool that shows all of the dimensions in the 3-axis. We can come back to here. Like earlier, we took a look at the section tool. And this is another tool called the first person view. When this is turned down, you're really looking at the model as if from a first person perspective. You can look up, look down, look left, look right, but you can really rotate off to the back of the model. You can mark up in the 3D mode. When you click here, it goes back to the markup screen as we saw earlier before launching into this model, and it's the same set of tools. When you're done, you can save, and it will go back to the view updates page. That's where it is sitting, and you can then access all of these quick markups without going into the 3D. And let's finally take a look at share. With share, I just did share with you earlier. There are also 2 ways. You can either share the 3D model page, which is what I did, or you can share the model file. When sharing the model file, it means you're giving someone else a download link, and they'll get the link to download the model in its original format. If it's Rhino, it will be a Rhino file. If it's SketchUp, we'll download the SketchUp file. In the walkthroughs we mentioned earlier, you can always change your cards to client ready. You can change the start screen to one of the first common or current view, and then there's some that you can hide the details. Turning on restricted view, this is where we saw earlier, like the first person orbit. This really means like you're limiting the area people can view. I also want to show you we have another feature called offline model link. This offline model link is a business customer only feature. When you're doing that, it actually saves the presentation as a cache data in your computer. It means you can access it without internet. Now I have this. All I need to do is actually bookmark this into my browser. Then I can cut off my internet, and I will still be able to access the whole presentation. I can access all my common cards with all my different attachments. And I can access all my walkthroughs as well. The offline features is great. Not only that, you can also do sections without internet too. This is pretty much all of the features. Just wondering if anyone has any questions for me. We'll jump into VR next. Okay, good. Let's jump into VR. I'm back on my camera. I'm using an iPhone. iPhone really works the best as we've been discovering. Now I just pretty much, I use Safari browser and I loaded the model in my phone. The comments is actually on the bottom. You'll see this bottom toolbar and you'd be able to swipe. Oh, I just actually swiped the whole page off. Let me load it again. I'm actually on LTE, not on Wi-Fi at the moment. But even on LTE, it loads pretty fast. I can turn on these comments, and when I swipe, this is how I access all the different comments. I can also access all of my walkthroughs as well with this button here. And I can play my walkthroughs. The best thing with phone is you can do VR with your phone. And you'll see this little glass icon on the top of your phone. You can click that and make sure your phone does not have the orientation lock. So now I can go into the landscape mode, and it automatically turns into the VR mode. Then I just need to grab a Google Cardboard. Actually, I don't have an Access one on my table at the moment, but when you drop into the Google Cardboard, you're able to just see it right away. When you're in the VR mode, the way to flip between comments is there's a button on top of the Google Cardboard. When you click that, it generates a click on the screen, and then you will go into the next comment automatically, like how I'm just clicking here, and then it will just go into the next comment. Yeah, this is pretty much all of what I want to show with Modelo. We have more features. We have features like embed. We have features like panorama. Actually, let me show you the panorama. We saw the panorama feature earlier. You can also access the panorama render on your phone. I just opened up that panorama, and as I rotate my phone, I'll be able to see this rendering. I can also turn this render into VR by clicking the same button. And now I'm in the VR mode of the panorama rendering. With embed, you can do all the same thing. You can embed your common cards, so your Modelo presentation. You can embed the walkthroughs, and you can also embed the panorama renderings. All right, great. Does anyone have any questions for me? I'm good to take some questions. All right, I guess. Sounds like everyone's pretty good. Sure, then I'm going to leave my contact information here. If any of you have any questions, welcome to shoot me an email. We also have, when you have any questions, definitely feel free to use our help channel as well. Like when you're in the model, you see that little help button. Whatever you see, you can send that. I'm also checking that channel to answer the questions. Okay, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me, and I look forward for you to use Modelo. Bye.